Because of the grace that God gave me, I can say to each one of you, don't think of yourself more highly than you ought to think. Instead, be reasonable, since God has measured out a portion of faith to each one of you. A couple of years ago, I made an apple pie. I love apple pie, and my cousin found the recipe my grandmother used to use to make her famous apple pies, and I was bound to try it, bound to see if I could do it. And so with our at the time newborn sitting in a rocker on the counter, we set to work putting together an apple pie. I got the apples, cut them up, measured out the ingredients, poured the dry ingredients, then the wet, added the apples, rolled out I didn't actually roll out the pie crust. I bought the pie crust, put it all together, stuck it in the oven, and prayed. It came out okay. It wasn't the same as I remember it, but certainly I could never add the love and care that my grandmother added, nor could I recreate the memories that are important to those memorable tastes. But as I look back on it, I'm thankful that I at least had enough insight to not add more or less than the recipe called for. Now, my grandmother did. She eventually didn't really measure things out. She just knew how much to add. The idea of a pinch made a lot of sense to my grandmother, though it makes no sense to me, and I'm grateful because it would not have come out well if I tried. But I thought about the ingredients. I love apples. Apples are delicious, and in an apple pie, apples are the best part. I don't care what you say. But had I added twice the apples to the pie, it wouldn't have come out well. I love sugar, says everyone. But if I had added too much sugar to the pie, it wouldn't have come out as good. I love a crumble topping on an apple pie. But if I tried to do that with too much, I take away from what's already good in the pie. You see, it takes a balance. And if we add only that which is really exciting to us, but fail to notice the other important pieces, it doesn't come out as well. Paul here is reminding us that we need to not think more highly of ourselves than we ought to. And that sounds like Paul is saying, be less arrogant. And maybe there's some truth to that, but I also think Paul is reminding us here that if we think that everything we add is the most important piece, we'll never see the value of all that else is added by so many others. If I think that I'm a great teacher, but I never stop to witness the passion of the students, then I fail to see the whole pie in the oven. If I convince myself that I am the best thing since sliced bread, then I might never see the gifts that others bring to the table. And so let us think not more of ourselves than we ought to. But let us recognize that God has given us gifts for sure, but that God has given others gifts too. Amen.